Hey guys, just wanted to bring you a quick update of the 65 gallon. The last video I did, I kind of explained why this tank has not been on my channel very much, which was because of a sickness that my fish had and kind of a devastating blow to this tank of losing most of the inhabitants, etc. So if you guys want to hear about that, you can check out the last video of this tank. So as far as how this tank has been making out, other than that disaster, it's been doing really well. I've been surprised at how well it's been doing since I stopped fertilizing or dosing anything in this tank at all. It's been a long time. I'm not sure exactly how many months, but it may be close to a year now that I haven't been putting any sort of fertilization into this tank at all. And I've been pleasantly surprised at how well it's doing and how much nice, healthy growth I get without that, because I really did credit my success in keeping healthy planted aquariums to the amount of Flourish Excel that I was dosing, which was a lot, as well as quite a bit of potassium and some iron, and then maybe once a month some of the Flourish Trace. The only thing that I have noticed since I stopped fertilizing is that this tank has slowly and surely become a tank that has only two plants in it. It has the Rotella and these crypts. There are two different kinds of crypts in here. The ones in the front are the one kind, and then there's the ones in the back. I'm not exactly sure what they're called, what species they are exactly. But anyway, I think that it looks nice and presentable, but I think that it's getting a little bit boring just having the two plants in it. There's not really a whole lot that I'm finding I can do to keep it looking exciting, and it's just becoming a bit monochrome with the two different shades of green. I think another thing that's contributing to this tank kind of looking a little bit boring is the fact that that big beautiful piece of driftwood that I used to have in here, which if you look back a couple years ago to what this tank looked like before with this piece of wood, it was amazing and thick and glorious, and the snails have just whittled it away to a toothpick. It's pretty crazy and really impressive that they can do that. They're like little beavers. But what it's done is essentially taken the centerpiece out of this tank, because the wood was really what the scape was based around, and it was really beautiful, and it was really a part of this tank I enjoyed a lot, and essentially you can barely see it now. I did go to the pet store where I bought this wood to try and get another piece to replace it, but for whatever reason they've decided to not carry this type of wood anymore, which I thought was a little bit strange, because it's the nicest stuff they had, and it was really, all the pieces were really unique, and they were really big. So if you had a bigger tank that you needed a piece for, they worked really well for that. So I'm kind of out of luck for that, and none of the other pet stores, that one is basically my only chance at getting wood like that, unless I want to go really far away, like hours away, to try and find something else. So I think essentially what I need to do is to find something else for the scape to work around, and at this point I'm probably looking at needing to get rocks, I think, instead of wood. And I also need to get some other plants in here. So what I wanted to ask you guys, for those of you who have experience with low tech or lower tech tanks, because essentially the only thing about this tank that's kind of higher tech is the lighting, and that's just about it. I mean, it's got a great substrate as well, which offers a lot to the plants, but I'm not dosing anymore, so essentially plants that don't require anything extra is what I need in here. So I've got crypts, I've got Rotella. The Bacopa I had in here I thought would be fine, but it hasn't been. There are just a few scraggly pieces back here now. There's one there. I mean, you can barely see it. It's really getting choked out, and that may be because of the lack of fertilization and the right conditions, but it could also be because the other plants in here are doing so well that they're just choking it out. I don't know what's going on under the substrate there as far as the root growth. So I thought that maybe Val would do well in here, although I only ever kept that when I was a beginner fish keeper, and I found that it would melt a lot. So I haven't tried it again since, so I don't know if that would maybe not be a problem for me anymore in a really established tank. So that's an option, but other than that, I'm not really sure what else I could keep in here that would do well. So I wanted to ask you guys if you had any suggestions on plants that I could put in here to spice things up a bit that really don't require a whole lot. Basically all it has to offer is light and a nice, healthy, deep substrate. So if you want to leave those in the comments below, that would be appreciated. We can maybe have a talk about it, and I'll try and track them down and clear some space for it. I just think this tank needs a little something, and I'd like you guys to help me figure out what that is. Thanks.